don't actually know if I recorded the first session, but never mind. It's in the Facebook group, so it'll be fine. But yeah, let's get into it. So before we start, I just want to take like a deep breath, like get your energy going, take a deep breath, do a little stretch. I was going to have music. We were going to do like some shamanic shaking, but we cannot get the speakers to work. So even if we just like have a little energetic reset, like that's amazing. Because this is going to require like a slightly different hat to wear now when we think about how we're going to translate this to our business. But if you are ready, ladies, like let's go, because I've got so much incredibleness to share with you. Again, like bear with me while I figure out what I'm doing. It's not Facebook that I want, is it? Hopefully you're all following along now with your workbook. You're finding that super useful. Again, like identify things that you can come back to later that maybe you might want to brainstorm a little bit more, or just like put into practice. I'm all about the action, because we can sit and talk about it till the cows come home and be like, yeah, that's amazing, like great, I'm going to go back and do exactly what I was doing before, because that feels like a lot. I'm all about actually now implementing and integrating what it is that we need to do. So it's one of the reasons, even from this session, like I could have gone till 3, but I'm not going to, because I've given myself like a clear hour to almost like decompress, but also like get my thoughts down. Like, what can I do differently? What can I do better next time? Is there anything I need to follow up on? Like, because I've given myself space to do that. I know when I then otherwise, if I just literally roll straight into the school run, it's all going to be all that great energy that's been harnessed is going to be lost. So I think Imran's just coming in. That's amazing. So let's get to it. So before I do, I just want to let you know, it will be in the workbook anyway. Obviously, there is no expectation at all to sell from today's session. I'm not about that life at all. The right kind of women will track me down regardless, but equally, I'm not, you know, I talk about leverage all the time, so I'm not going to miss an opportunity for anybody that wants to continue the journey with me, or with the women that are here, because there's some of the mastermind ladies as well. I'm obviously going to make it a no-brainer offer. So we've got the 7-Figure Sisterhood, which is my signature mastermind. That is all around wealth building. So it's weekly sessions, it's really high touch intimate mentorship, it's guest expert trainings, like tons of resources to build and scale your business. All of my guest experts that come in will make you either richer in terms of, you know, making you more money because they're sales experts, or wealthier because they're wealth building experts. So we've had like stocks and shares in, we've had property experts, we've got tax efficiency ladies coming in, all of the things. So obviously, if you join as a result of this workshop, feel free to reach out to me or Laura or any of the women in the mastermind if you want to see how it is. There is a discount to do so, essentially. So that's the incentive. But one thing I am passionate about as well, because that's also, that's, we're here whenever you're ready, Queen, like we're here, that's your home. But actually next week, I've got my 30-day challenge. So if you've loved my energy today, then you are absolutely going to love while you integrate and implement over the next 30 days. So this is like just a little pop-up challenge that I thought of last week, because genuinely, it's like the power is in the momentum and the energy. So there is an exclusive price for you guys. There's also a PayPal link. You can do it on credit. You can split the payments. Like, it's so accessible for anybody that's like, yes, I am ready. I know I need a little nudge. No, I need a kick. That's for you. So I just want to put that out there. So that's my invitation if you feel called to. So let's get into the business stuff then. So for me, Stackable, so as I mentioned earlier about my client that had a 10K month, then a week, then a day, stackable and sustainable success, where we're not going to burn you out or melt you, and you can actually replicate and continue building on the momentum and the energy that you've already built in your business, is built on the following things. And equally, have that summer of freedom. It's having a powerful brand message and content that activates your audience. It's about less is more in that respect, and being potent and activating and all of the things, so people feel compelled to move. Like, we're not just nurturing and friend zoning people and like, we'll see you in 18 months and still have the same conversation. Like, what you are sharing is so powerful that people feel compelled to do something, one or the other. It's about considering the longevity of your content as well. That's where I see most people burn out, is that they are continually on that daily hamster wheel of got to post a reel, got to post something on Instagram, got to put something on Facebook. And the reality is, like, that content is fleeting. It's only going to be seen by such a small percentage of your audience anyway, and it's gone within like 72 hours. So I've always intuitively focused on brand building and longevity and having like solid foundation. It's about really owning your expert status and committing to being more visible and being a leader within your industry. That's how you create like quick wins, collapse time, like get people moving in your world. It's about having a stackable offer suite so that you are essentially never leaving money on the table. So I'll be taking you through that. It's about focusing on reoccurring revenue and passive income, particularly over the summer. So we're not going to reduce our expectations of income. It's also about leveraging results and having a clear focus and intention. So that's where I'll be sharing how you basically pull together everything into a daily, like, this is what I need to do every day. So let's jump into it then. So brand message and content for me really comes down to a few really simple questions, like powerful brand message anyway. Like, what do you actually want to be known for? Like, it sounds so simple, but don't underestimate the value of that question. What is it that you actually want people to be known for? Because that will be the thing that will enable people to recommend you to other people. So when people come to me to be a guest expert in their session, and I've actually got, so side note, completely unplanned, but I've got Rhiannon here today, who is, she actually runs my PR. So she's a really beautiful human anyway, and a really great friend. So obviously feel free to reach out to Rhiannon, but she runs my PR. So when you look at all of those incredible, like I've been seeing in Glamour and Daily Mail and Independent and like some GQ and all of these other things, the Female CEO and other magazines, Stylist magazine, Rhiannon has helped me to create those opportunities and to get that visibility in my business. But fundamentally, she couldn't have done that if I was like, well, I just want to help women. Like, how would she know where to pitch me? How would she know which publications to align me to, what groups to recommend me, what doors to open, what opportunities to create? If I was just like, I just want to help women grow a business, it'd be like, okay, well, we'll come back to you never, because there's just not really much to work there. When you try and speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. What's really helped me is to get clarity on who I am as a person and what I bring to the table and my particular style of coaching and my values in business, so that when people come to me and say, yeah, great, I've got a podcast, I'm happy to feature you, what is it that you talk about? It's like, I can talk about leverage, I can talk about money mindset, I can talk about business in alignment, like I've got 5 areas that are very obvious, that people can then come to me. This is where you move away from having to chase clients and almost convince them to work for you, like with you, sorry, to actually having people finding you essentially and seeking you out, because they're like, oh, I've heard of this girl, she's got 5 kids, she only works 2 days a week, like, what the, how is she doing that? Oh, she's the queen of leverage, oh my god, we need to get her on a podcast. And I get people all the time that are just fascinated about, how do you do what you do, you know? And that is because rather than hiding from it, I own it now. So that is what I want to be known for, women doing business their own way. It's the anarchist in me, it's the rebel with ADHD that doesn't want to do what I'm told. You know, I want to instill that and invoke that in other women, where they get to treat their business like their party, like do it exactly how they want to. Obviously this feeds into a higher mission, because, you know, I'm about the collective of women, and also, you know, my past trauma and, you know, my belief system in terms of like, if more good women made really great fucking money, how much better would the world be? Like, genuinely, because I know what I do with my money. And even Abby's here today, I know her plans for charity initiatives and all of the beautiful things that she's going to do for this world by her really stepping into her financial power and having that overflow, more than she needs, so that she can go off and do great things. That to me is what it's really all about. It's about encouraging women to want more than when we're conditioned our whole life to want so little. So that's what I want to be known for. That means then when I'm creating content, when I'm showing up, when I'm deciding which platform I'm going to be on, what publications I want to be in, what groups I want to be in, what people I want to align with, like I've got that clear focus and that intention. It means when I go to write a story or do a story or write a post, like I'm not holding myself back anymore. I used to, absolutely. When I started in business coaching, it was a real slow build. Like I wasn't one of those coaches that were like, I was making 100k in 100 days. I really fucking wasn't. I was charging £300 for my coaching services. I was working all the hours and making no money because I just wanted to be liked, and because I thought I needed to do my time and everything else. It was only when I got to this like, fuck this moment, where I was like, what is the point? I just want to help people, that I realized by me being so meh, so vanilla, so middle of the road, so nothing really, I realized in me doing that, I was really doing everybody around me a disservice, because the reality is I'm not really like that as a person. Like, I've always been a person with a strong moral code, what's right, what's wrong. Like, I've got first-hand experience of you have to do the work to build a business. I wasn't someone that was coming in like other coaches where they were like, I made 100K in my pants and I do nothing. Don't you want to be like me? I was like, I don't know how you're doing that, because I know how I run my business. It's not that effortless. And when I say that I only work 2 days a week, the reality is I still have touch points in my business every day. But for me, what is work is like podcasts, lives, client meetings, like all of that more structured stuff. Because, you know, that's the work. That's what I'm doing on those 2 days. I'm not saying it's easy, because even doing that, and, you know, it can be hard at different times. So it's about, you know, choose your hard, essentially, isn't it? How do I get to make it easier? How do I get to ebb and flow? I'm not feeling the pressure to be on 24/7 every single day of the week. But when I do show up, I show up with potency, with activation, with a clear understanding of what it is the women that follow me need. I get them, like, it's all about bang for your buck, essentially. I use that term a lot. But so what do you want to be known for? What do you believe in? How are you different to other people online? And it's about owning those differences and differences and understanding, like, you are the table, you are the effing table, and what makes you different is typically your superpower. This is how you stand out online. So it's all about creating a standout brand that is activating to your ideal client, so you're getting more bang for your buck when you do turn up, and that people are more activated to move quickly. So one example of this is that I had a lady recently come see me on TikTok. She moved over, like, I just did a little video on TikTok, but it was quite polarizing because it was about your boundaries are what are keeping you broke, which is essentially true, because we all want to be liked, and we, you know, typically somebody with bad boundaries are wasting a lot of time and energy on everybody else and not prioritizing themselves. She found that content and was like, you literally spoke to my soul. I felt attacked. Like, it was so true. Like, as much as part of me was offended, I was like, you're fucking right. Like, I need to work on this. So she then came over to my Instagram that day, happened to be doing a live an hour later. She messaged me and was like, oh my God, like, literally, you're speaking to my soul. Are you free? I'm interested in working in your low ticket membership. And my membership at the time is about £47. And I was like, should we just jump on a call? Because I don't fucking know you. I don't know anything about your business, and I'd love to have a chat. And for me, it was just a conversation. And by the end of it, she transferred me several £1,000s to work with me as a one-to-one client. And that is how quick it can be when you really stand in conviction for what you believe in. Like, you are going to call in the right women that are like, hell fucking yes, how refreshing. Like, finally somebody is saying it, somebody gets me, somebody can help me, somebody understands, and it, like, and has so much conviction in the results that they can give me. Please take my money, because I've been waiting for you. Where have you been all my life? You know, that's what we want to get to, where you don't have to continually nurture. Like, I've been on the other side of this. Side note, when I was a launch manager for clients, so I used to have a done for you service where I essentially ran very established 6-figure and 7-figure coach launches, as an agency model, and I'd run it like a political campaign, like all the stuff in the background. And honestly, when I went into some of their DMs, I was like, I don't know who are your friends, who are family. Like, you're just friend zoning all of your potential leads. You're not treating your socials like a money making opportunity. And I guess it is for me, because I have that physical business before I came into the online space. Like, everything is an opportunity to serve. I don't have time and energy in my day to make extra friends. Like, don't get me wrong, when you're in my inner circle, absolutely, like, God, I'll know your kids, I'll know your goals. Like, I really go all in. I can't help it. Like, I am absolutely attached to my clients to the point where I get FOMO whenever their term ends. I've still got a client that we just jump on a call every now and again because I miss her, and I'm like, how are you? But she doesn't have a business anymore, so I can't help her in that context. So, but you know, that's what I'm like. But at the beginning, it's like, you can't be all things to everybody, and not, you know, and because you'll get a lot of people. That's what I had, basically, a lot of people that would take this, especially where I'm a business coach and a growth strategist. So I get no end of mastermind peers who would be like, let's jump on a call for 2 hours, you can do all the work and I'll add absolutely nothing to you. How about that? And I realized 1 month I spent something like 40 hours on free calls and in DMs, just literally with conversations that were never going to go anywhere. And it's very admirable to be a good person, but when you've got 5 kids that need you to pay bills, like, you got to start getting ruthless with your time and your boundaries. So that's where I really started to get more activating in my content. I know there's coaches that probably fucking hate me because they look at my message and I am everything that they don't. I stand for everything that they're not. You know, there's some coaches that are very much almost like God complexes, where their offers are like their show and it's all about them. Everything is egocentric, like the numbers, the metrics, the audience, the containers. It's very much like massaging their egos. For me, it's not about that. So I call it out because I've been burned by those coaches where I've invested thousands, and I'm talking like 20 to 30,000 pounds I've invested in coaches that I really held in high regard because I was sucked into that energy, where I was like, they must have the magical cure to cancer because they speak with such conviction and da-da-da-da. And obviously, clearly, us mere mortals are fucking useless and stupid women that don't know what they're doing. Let me give you all my money while I suddenly understand what this magical thing is that you have that nobody else has. And then got into the inside and was like, oh, no, you don't have it, you're just lying. It just isn't any of those things. Actually, I already had everything I needed, but I needed somebody to help guide me to find the way to make it mine. So I speak about that, and it annoys a lot of people, and I don't care, because for the clients who have been burned before, I'm going to be speaking to their souls. So it's about that. It's about, what do you want to be known for? What do you believe in your soul to be true? And speaking with that conviction, and then owning why you're different, you know, rather than hiding from it, being embarrassed by it, thinking it lets you down in some way. That is going to be your superpower. The fact that I am fast talking, high energy, Gemini, like manifesting generator with ADHD, some people fucking love it, because to be in my energy, it's so activating. And particularly Gemini communicator. So it's infectious. It gives them that boost. It makes them take action. It makes them like do those things. But for a long time, I was like, oh, it means I'm erratic. I'm not consistent. Like, I'm not good enough. So now I own it. And all of my bios will be like fast talking, high energy, get shit done kind of coach. I own it now. So how can you do that more in your messaging? And I always love to bring it back to whenever my clients are about to launch something, it's like, why you? Why them? Why this offer? And why now? Because ultimately that is what sells. If you can articulate those points clearly, and you can articulate the desired result, like, you will sell hand over fist. That's the reality. When we are vague, when we are ambiguous, when we're not owning our power, when we're not being confident enough in the results that we can get for our clients, that's when people are like, yeah, I'll come back. I might need to like watch this one for a little bit longer. If it was like, I can make you, give me £10 and I'll make you £1 million, no one's gonna be like, I need to sit on the fence a little bit more about that. If that genuinely, like, if I had an offer, I would give it to you. But if I did, like, everybody's gonna be like, yes please, because if she's that fucking confident, I'm that confident. So that's what we need to get with our content. It's about, how do we become like bolder, more potent, more activating, more depth, more conviction in what it is that we're creating. Every post that goes out feels like a yes, somebody is going to listen to this today or read this today. They are going to feel activated. They are going to know that that is meant for them. Not, oh, here's an inspirational quote, here's a meme, here's a little picture of me and my kids, and something around like, you do you, boo, with a little, you know, emoji. That does nothing. It's filler content. It might be nice, it might build a bit of trust, absolutely, and not everything has to be like mic drop. So you've got to balance it out, but it's about making the majority of your content activating so it actually works for you. So then you have to create less, do less of that nurture work where people will move straight away. So that's what we want to do. It's about that embodiment, that next level self, that leader, and oh, I've already said that, embodiment and leadership content. So that's again another thing where people struggle, is that they're being too relatable, too friend zone, too approachable by their clients. There's no aspiration element to it. So one example of this is, I had a coach once that was like, we need to lose the kids. Like, that's not aspirational to anybody, and it's not sexy in any way. Like, you're not a leader. And I sat on that, and Rihanna will laugh, because I really took that on board for a while, and I was like, yeah, need to lose my kids, gotta sex it up, like sex sells, da da da. And then I came back and thought, fuck that shit, because my kids are an integral part of why I do what I do. And I actually think they make me stronger. I actually think they make me more empowered. Like, they give me confidence that I never had before I had them, so why am I negating them? And equally, you know, who doesn't love kids? Like, they're cute, right? Like, so I literally brought everything back to myself, and I was like, what do I want to be known for? That in itself was an opportunity for me to step forward as a leader and say, actually, you can be a leader and have kids. You can be a nice person and be really divisive on your content. You can be a good person and want more money for yourself. You can have more than you need and still want more. You can be grateful and still fucking aspire to more. Like, all of the things you don't get to choose. So I write on that content now. Anything equally, just a super quick side note, but I had this recently with a client as an example, in that they were almost, again, too relatable. So they were coming onto their stories and they were like, not necessarily them, but they'd seen somebody else and they'd identified it for themselves. They brought it to me and said, is this is this what I'm seeing? And I was like, yes. Where they had a coach, and particularly if you're a coach, if you're a service-based entrepreneur, they were coming onto their stories and they were like, hi guys, like, having a bad day, just wanted to kind of let you know it's okay to have a bad day, like, if you're having a bad day. And it's like, okay, where is the intention with that post? It's that community in the victimhood to me, and this is going might activate you, but for me, as a professional, as somebody who is healed and now healing others, even if I have a bad day, I don't need to go on my socials to do it. I don't need validation from other people. I've got everything I need in me. I don't need people to clap for me, to feel sorry for me, to send me, you know, a love heart or an inspirational thing. I'm here to lead the women that are following me and the women in my containers. I won't tell you about that bad day. It's not to say that I don't have them, but I'll tell you from a moment of learning where it's like, I had a really bad fucking day last week, so this is what I did. And Laura will know, bless her, I literally voice noted her crying because I was on the it was half term, so half term, 2 weeks with the kids. There was a particular pinch point in my half term where I was like, I'm fucking broken right now, this is too much. But rather than kind of, you know, just accept that it is what it is, I've got all the tools in my toolkit to realign, to get a hold of myself and fucking turn things around. So a bad morning doesn't turn into a bad day, doesn't turn into a bad week. I didn't feel the need to put any of that on my stories. I didn't need anyone to feel sorry for me. I don't want my audience to necessarily relate to me at that point where they now think they're my friend. It's about, I need to be the leader. I need to deal with my shit, dig into my resource toolkit, know that I have healed from that moment, and then come back from a moment of reflection where it's like, last week I had a really bad day, actually. Like, I'm human, it happens. But like I say, rather than letting a bad morning turn into a bad day, this is what I did, and this is what you can do if you have that bad day too. Because then I've still got the dynamics of leading you. I'm still adding value to you because I'm still further on in my journey than you. I've still got things that you could learn or benefit from. I've still got that value exchange. And equally, we're still relatable, but I'm still a leader. So it's about, with your content, it's being mindful of, am I embodying that next level? Am I being a leader? Am I activating my audience, or am I using really wishy-washy, vague, ambiguous language or industry terms that people in my industry will get, but maybe my audience won't? And again, I really have to rein that in because my background is corporate. I love, like, and you know, I'm a hypnotherapist, I use NLP, like, I love to jump into the technical terms, but sometimes people don't understand what I'm talking about, and I assume that they do, and I'm like, oh, okay, oh, let me say it in a different way. So I constantly, this is a continual movement in motion. I'm always looking at my content and thinking, can I do better? Can I say more? Can I make this more valuable? I always say, like, show up like you're being paid, because a lot of the time, because our social media content is free, we'll just be like, oh yeah, fuck it, that will do, or we don't even commit to being consistent with doing it. But if that is so, when we get into our non-negotiables later, for me, your social media content is like priority number one, not the last thing on your to-do list. It's the first thing on your to-do list, because this is essentially your shop window. This is your opportunity to sell. So back in the day when I had my barbershop, you know, I wouldn't go, if I was going to pay for paid advertising on Google or in newspapers, or like paid kids to go and hand out fucking leaflets, I'm not just going to put something else like, that will do. I'm like, what will give me the best possible chance of conversion here? What do they need to know about me on this leaflet right now to really, like, excite them to come in closer to my world and work with me? Like, I need to have incredible graphics, like imagery. I need to have like a clever tagline. I've got to like get all of my main sell points down, like all of the things, because I was paying for it. So you need to show up with your content on socials like you're paying for it, and it will be a completely different vibe. So that's kind of my thoughts on brand messaging. Obviously, if you've got any questions, we can come back in coaching, but hopefully that's starting the process of you thinking about, actually, what am I putting out right now? And is that enough to compel somebody to work with me quickly? Because that's essentially where we want to get to. So the next thing I want to touch on is longevity of content. This is, again, another thing that I feel really passionate about. So when I work with clients, it's always about setting the foundation in place of a personal brand. So I don't believe, like, Instagram, TikTok, all of those great things are fantastic, and they're great for manifesting generators, great for people that love video content, great that are magnetic and show up in their best self energy, but it's very fleeting in terms of how many people are actually going to see it. Sometimes it will go viral, amazing, like you've got all that potential. So there's pros and cons to everything, but it's also about how to get your content working harder for you, and the way of doing that is focusing on any content that's based on SEO, which is search engine optimization. So this will be platforms like Pinterest, YouTube, podcasts, Google advertising, blog posts, like any of those things that are actually going to pay you now and in the future. So I've got a YouTube channel, there's videos on there from like 3 years ago that I still get people watching. I still, like, my podcast, like, goes and goes and goes. I've got episodes from 2 or 3 years ago that still people come back and say, oh my God, I found it. And I'm like, how? What the hell was I talking about? That was so long ago. Like, it's fascinating to me, but it means that when I created that, I ensured that I had the most bang for my buck. I leverage it even further now. So repurposing is something that I feel really strongly about. And again, if some of this isn't your bag, get a team member to do it for you. It's very cost effective to allow somebody, for you to create something once and allow other people to support you in repurposing it. So some smart ways that I do that with my content is I do a podcast on a Tuesday morning. I film it on Zoom. I stream it into my free Facebook group, so this group here. So there's value in it's like a live training then, essentially, for the women that are in my community group. So I'm not having to do extra calls for them because I'm just streaming my podcast episodes in. I then upload the video to YouTube, so that builds my YouTube channel, and I make sure that all of that is optimized for the best opportunity for visibility. I then extract the audio to my podcast. And then I have also got the option to take the transcript and put it into a blog post, but I haven't found a way that actually makes sense. But then what I do is I do screen records and take snippets from my podcast episodes. I create audiograms for my socials every Wednesday. So again, driving traffic back to that podcast. I also upload the videos to YouTube as a short. So that's the same for anybody that isn't familiar. YouTube have now introduced the function of shorts, which is basically like TikTok and Instagram Reels. It's like 60-second video content that then drives traffic and increases my subscribers. I then send it to Clapper, which is a new platform as well, which is just in case TikTok gets banned. I've started building like an audience over there. It goes on to TikTok, goes on to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, like all the things. And that is from one bit of content. Like, I've managed to literally repurpose it 100 different ways to make sure that not only am I driving traffic to the original content, i.e. the podcast episode, but also just position me as an expert because I've got a podcast, give me more exposure. And obviously, typically, because I'm in vibe when I'm on my podcast and I'm like talking about something that I feel really passionate about, again, as we were saying earlier, it's about capturing those moments when you're in your element. So then that's a perfect reel. A reel doesn't have to be me feeling super orcs, like just filming it like 5 ways to do this, like that doesn't feel good to me. That feels a little bit cheesy, and I don't believe that it sets me apart as an authority. I think it means that I know how to do trending reels. I think it's great for additional visibility, but is that building authority and connection to my ideal client? No. Me actually speaking candidly about something that I'm passionate about is going to convert my clients much quicker than me doing a little dance on a reel, and that's the reality. So this is where I say about quality, like longevity, potency, like not doing stuff for the sake of it when it's not actually going to serve you in any way. As much as they might be entertaining, they might be fun, they don't position you as an expert, those trending funny reels. So yeah, so that's just one way how I repurpose my podcast, which again, so but that means that I can nurture people that listen to podcasts, people that are on YouTube and love to watch the podcast. It nurtures my free Facebook group. It nurtures like Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So again, like that's 8 different ways from one episode, which could only be 10 minutes. You know, that's the thing. So when we talk about Summer of Freedom, to be fair, I'll probably just batch those in advance. I won't even be recording podcast episodes. But even if I did have to do a podcast episode, it's 10 minutes of work, and it's going to give me exposure across 8 different platforms, 8 different buying types. Like, why the hell would you not? Is that really work? 10 minutes of my time? I'm good. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes they're longer because we all know I love a chat. And I've always got so much to say, but that's it. That's a reality. It could just be 10-minute episodes. So focus on quality over quantity and know what you love best. So if you are somebody that just loves to write, you don't actually want to be on camera and doing all the things, that's absolutely fine. I've got a client who is exactly the same. Like, she doesn't like video content. She doesn't feel really confident with lives. So we just lean into really great fucking email marketing. I got her to do one masterclass once. We built a funnel around it and automations and really clever email sequence, and everything else, so she's a projector, everything else is just in her content, which is typically flat images, quotes, carousel posts, because they're really doing well, but also really position you as an expert, really like give an opportunity to add a lot of value. We just do that. And we lean into really great content. We realigned her platform. So she was on Instagram because she liked to be on Instagram, but is that where her ideal client was? No, it was LinkedIn, because she was ready for a more discerning client who didn't need so much convincing to work with her. She was like, I just want women that just know, that just want to give me their money and they fucking get it. And I was like, LinkedIn, that's where the women are, the women that have money but no time because they're either stuck in corporate or they're more discerning and more committed to growing a business. Go to LinkedIn. And she did, and she gets better conversions. But she could otherwise be leaning into like Pinterest marketing, where you write a blog post because she loves to write, and you drive traffic back to your blog through Pinterest. Email marketing, as we mentioned, she could write a book, downloadable resources, ebooks, like all of the things. Just do what you do well and own it. Like, absolutely commit to mastery and whatever it is, that thing. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. I actively encourage you not to. I always say, when everyone else goes left, go right. And I think what's made me so successful in business is I never do it like anybody else. Typically, if people tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it twice, because I can't fucking help myself. So that's what I would love for you to do. Like, own what you love, what doesn't even feel like work, and commit to mastering it, whatever it is, because there's so much grace still available on all of these platforms for the women that really take it by the hands and go like all in. So if you do love video content, obviously like YouTube, TikTok, Clapper, podcasts, if you find it, because for some reason writing is not their jam, like they're actually better to just speak, or I don't even know if Clubhouse maybe is still a thing, I don't know, but that was, podcast was my thing because I'm a chatty Cathy, and it's something I always used to get told off for when I was young. So that works really well for me. This also then translates into how you're serving your clients. So things that I love to do is offer Voxer support, because Voxer's like a voice app where you can DM people. They get a whole like personalized podcast episodes on there, because there's so much value in, you know, just having those meaningful conversations. That's me anyway, so it's the perfect platform for me to facilitate some of my offers. So if you get a VIP session, for example, rather than me continually keep jumping back on calls, because I'm very much in the moment, like get shit done, I don't want to have to keep scheduling calls. So I'll just get into Voxer and we'll just chat it through in real time, in the moment. So that's one of the things that I offer. The next thing then, so if there's anything you want to share around, like, oh, maybe I'm not on the right platform, maybe I'm not actually being activating enough, not heard of Audiogram. Oh, so Audiogram is when you have a podcast or any sort of audio that you think is particularly activating for you. If you find it easier to speak your truth as opposed to write it, then you can, using apps like Headliner, and it probably even Canva, I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure that there's other free apps where you can essentially have the graphic and the audio goes over the top. So you might have seen the like social media post where it's got like the little Ziggy Zag line and it's moving as somebody is speaking, and it's got like audio sound over the thing. That's what an audiogram's called, and I use Headliner for mine, for my podcast. Yeah, so Rhiannon gets it, because obviously the good thing with SEO, so search engine optimization, is that YouTube works with Google, works with like Pinterest, works with, and everything is moving towards more SEO based categorization, even on TikTok now. And I'm sure Instagram will go exactly the same way. And the more that you can start thinking about, well, also there's a couple of things here, let me go back. So I love to build a YouTube presence because of the motivation of the buyer. First of all, I'm here for longevity. I'm here for brand. So when somebody Googles my name, not only do I want them, thanks to Rhiannon, to see me attached to incredible, like impressive publications, amazing, but I also want them to know that I've been here for fucking ever, that I'm not here, that I wasn't just a coach that just didn't want to go back to work after lockdown and was like, okay, I've done a program, so now I'm a business coach. It's like, I've been in the trenches. I was here before COVID. I was here when there was the last fucking recession. So the only way that I can demonstrate that longevity is by building digital footprints that transcend the Instagram algorithm. For you, it might not be, but when I think about my growth and my business plans, I want to be a respected author. I want to, because I have big plans and I have to show that longevity, that credibility. Things like YouTube, are really good because obviously, it shows how long I've been around, but also another great thing is the motivation of the person that's on the platform. On Instagram, it is very rare, well, TikTok maybe even, but it's very rare at the end of a long, hard day, does anybody go on and think, do you know what, I really need some inspirational quotes right now, I'm going to go onto Instagram. Or I'm actually thinking about some business services, let me pop onto Instagram and see what comes up. Like, unless they're already following you, they're not even going to know to look. And the chance of you getting in front of that person at that time when they're particularly motivated is going to be limited. If you've got a YouTube channel, however, how many times do we type into Google how to do something? We are motivated to find a solution on those platforms. We're actively seeking it out. Anything on socials, 90% of the time, unless you're using those hashtags in SEO like you are on TikTok, where you're like, how to panel my hallway, like I was, and then loads of videos came up. Everything else is interruption marketing. We're not dealing with a motivated buyer. We are interrupting and annoying the shit out of them typically, and being like, hey, I know you weren't thinking about it, but have you considered this? Hey, what about this? I'm still here. What about this? How are you? What about this? Like, we're trying to interrupt them. When they go onto YouTube, they are actively motivated buyers that are looking for a solution. It makes sense that you have a presence on Google, on YouTube, on like some of these bigger platforms that will give you more reach, because people are actively looking for what it is that you've got. And that's a shift that had to happen for me, where I was like, oh yeah, like I was putting my heart and soul into Instagram because I enjoyed it, but is that where my clients were? Oh, fantastic. So Rhiannon's obviously popped in her details. Yeah, once your brand foundations are sorted, you are so PRable, absolutely. And she's been a massive supporting me in up leveling that mindset. She's obviously got an 8-week program for anybody that is committed to really getting more visible, because that's part of one of the strategies I'm going to tell you about. So I'd absolutely encourage working with her because she is amazing, and she's also a fellow witch like me. So she's all about the spiritual as well as the the masculine and the strategy and the getting shit done. Amazing. Sorry, I was just catching up with some of the things there. So that is fantastic. So yeah, hopefully now you can see the opportunity there in terms of thinking outside of what everybody else is doing. There's not many coaches when I go onto YouTube, even when I've got guest experts on my podcast, they don't even have a YouTube channel. And I'm like, what? Not only can you also monetize your YouTube channel, you actually get paid to create content then physically. When I'm saying like act as if you already are over there. So go do that. So the next thing I think I wanted to talk to you about, we've already covered off longevity of content, so maybe that's given you some things to think about. It's about your expert status and visibility and starting to own that. We've already identified that with some of the human design types, like it's difficult to own your expert status, but that is where your growth is. That's where you're meant to be that bold, audacious, visible leader who then magnetizes and influences those around you. This is how we get to sell without selling. That's which feels like the most comfortable way for me, where it is the next natural step in a client's journey, because you are the one that fucking knows what they need, and you know what it is that they need, and you've got what they need. So this for me is all about owning your story and your unique gifts. It's why I took you through that journey earlier of understanding like your human design type and your zone of genius. It's because genuinely no one can do it like you can. That's the reality. Like, they're going to have different life experiences. They're going to have different conditioning. They're going to have different set of values, different set of beliefs. They're going to have a different journey. Even if you are trained in exactly the same modality or selling exactly the same product, they are going to do it slightly different to you. So the more that you can start to own that shizzle, the more that you can really set yourself apart, but also the more that you can bring in those aligned clients that will absolutely celebrate you for it, you know. There's clients in other containers and masterminds that I've been in, they would absolutely die at my approach. Like, they are very straight-laced and, like, you know, I don't know, whatever the word is, stick up their ass. They would hate my energy. It would be really out of alignment for them. And particularly in my corporate days, like, they hated it. They didn't hate because I was very successful, but you know, there were certain settings where it was like, I could see my boss's eye twitch, which I love to do. In this setting, it's amazing because I get to be fully me. I'm not doing one thing and embodying something else behind the scenes. Like, genuinely, if I'm telling you to journal, it's because I do it myself. It's because I know that has helped me out of lots of stressful situations where I feel really overwhelmed and unclear of what my next steps are. I'm not going to tell you to do something if I haven't already done it myself, because I embody what I'm teaching. That's what you need to start doing. Like, how do we embody this more? But also, you know, behind the scenes, but also on the scenes. This is where you create content where you really start to, rather than people seeing you, it's like, oh, she's so lovely, she's so nice, I really relate to her, love her stuff, to like, oh my God, she's the go-to expert, I need to go and work with her. Because ultimately, at our very core, as I mentioned earlier, like, we are still tribal beings. Our brains have only evolved 2% in caveman days. We are all still looking for our tribal elders and the designated adult in the room. It still baffles me 99% of the time that in most scenarios, because I'm with my kids 24/7, I am the designated adult in the room. Like, how the fuck did that happen? How am I the most responsible person here? But I am. And that's great. But I've owned that now. So the more that you can be that leader, be that beacon, be that voice, be that refreshing breath of fresh air, and be visible as such, standing for your unique point and spin on your industry, the more that you are going to not have to do so much work to sell yourself and to convince people to buy. They will want to buy from you, even if it's not now, even if you have to be aspirational. I'm absolutely fine with that. I've got clients that are like, girl, I am not here yet right now, but give me a year, give me a minute, I will come back and work with you. And I'm like, absolutely fucking ready. And I'm happy to be aspirational because I know the value of symbolically investing in that next level when it feels like your next level. Like, when I gave my coach 25 grand, I was like, wow, it wasn't even about him, it was about me. And being a single parent, being on my own, like, doing all the things and being a martyr for so long, and really forsaking, like, God, I still had underwear that was older than my kids. Like, I literally put myself so fucking last on the list to say that I am ready for more. Like, that was symbolic for me, not even about him. Like, he didn't even need to do anything at that point. I was like, I'm good, I'm done, I've taken that next step and I've already decided that I'm ready, so whatever comes, amazing. But it's about that. So become the go-to expert. So commit to mastery, whatever that looks like for you. This, it's not going to be the same. A projector, it will literally be like guru mastery, knowing your shit in and out, backwards, sideways, all the things. Manifesting generator, it might not look the same. It might be having that strategic awareness, overview, understanding of all the moving parts, all of the elements and things they need to know. But like me, I can teach you visibility at a higher level, but I've got a little black book of fucking dreams. If you really want to go all in, go and work with Rhiannon. She's amazing. I make sure that I'm always the most useful person in any room because I actively cultivate the relationships that I create in business, and they are an asset to me. As much as I'm recommending Rhiannon, I know that she would do the same for me. That means that I then don't have to worry about growing my own audience personally, because I've always got people acting on my behalf also, which I think, yeah, oh great, leads me on nicely to my next point, which is audience growth. You've got 3 approaches to building your audience right now, and therefore increasing your opportunities for visibility and therefore conversions. Not that you need a big audience to do it. It's also about quality and intention over quantity. But if you want to increase your growth and you know that you've been playing a little bit small, you can build it, borrow it, or buy it. And that is the thing that most coaches will not tell you. There are very few coaches or even online service providers who are going out there by themselves and actively growing organically their social media or following. it is not a good fucking use of their time. Why would they? Unless they're social media managers, like why would they want to master a platform that could change tomorrow? It's not a good use of their time. What they will do instead is either buy it, so they will invest in ads, or a social media manager who is an expert in those areas. I had a social media manager. We've just recently gone our separate ways, but she was amazing. It just didn't work with my human design because I couldn't work to her schedules. And that was absolutely fine. Like no harm, no foul. It was just like I tried it as a social experiment. It didn't work for me right now. I'll come back on that. Or you can borrow it. So you can build it and you can build an audience that really feel aligned to your energy, that really resonate with your message and your style and your journey. Amazing. But you can also borrow it. So this is something through strategic collaboration. So this is something that I learned very, very quickly when I got into the online space with 3-4 kids at the time. I was like, I can't be all places and all things and everywhere. So like Imran, you were saying about I can't get out physically to networking events, neither could I, because I had like school runs, kids, all the things. I did do a certain element in my local area, so maybe that's something you want to consider, like the local bank and the Chamber of Commerce and the local university and college and all these things, because I am a people person and I wanted to get out and just have those conversations and feel like I was doing something. So that there are things that you can do, but what I realized pretty quickly was what was far more effective in terms of usage of my time was creating strategic collaborations with people that already had the attention of my ideal client. So this is why you might see me as a guest expert in a sales coaches group, because they deliver sales, I deliver money mindset. We're both working with female entrepreneurs. It makes sense that if they already like her, they're going to like me because the trust transfers. It means that I'm more likely to get conversions in that group. So therefore, I'm getting more bang for my buck. I'm like more likely to have better conversions. So it's a better use of my energy than just putting something out there on social media and hoping for the best. So I've always been very intentional, knowing that I was time poor, that it's about, right, okay, who's got my ideal client already and how can I align with them and add value in an exchange that feels equitable. It's why in my mastermind, I always encourage the women to be collaborating and networking and genuinely supporting each other's businesses with referrals, with collaborations, with feedback, like all leads, like all the things, because generally men do this all the time. And like side note, but obviously I'm from like Jewish heritage, so it's very much ingrained within our community that I know a guy. Like if you need somebody knows somebody, they from an accountant to a wedding planner to a something, like you all help each other to grow each other's businesses. That has always been one of my core values. Like Rhiannon, not only does it help, you know, feel good and its values, people want to be useful. I have value as a business coach because I know so many people in different areas of the online and offline space. That makes me valuable. If I'm like, oh, I don't know, I can't help you with it and I don't know anybody, how's that fucking helpful, you know? But equally for me, if I help you, you help me. If you have an audience, I have an audience. Like that gives value to my audience, that gives value to your audience. Like I'm all about the energetic exchange. And also, what's it, you know, you can see on Amazon if you're about to buy something and it's like there's 3 different things and it's like, okay, yeah, I could buy that. Like, okay, but if this one has got like all of the 5-star reviews, your mum has bought it and told you it's amazing, your best friend is wearing it, you've seen it on socials, you're going to go for this thing over here. It's the same principle. When somebody recommends you and they're prepared to put their name to somebody to say that this person knows their shit and they're good, you do really well to work with them, then obviously you're more likely to convert. So strategic collaboration. So who in your industry right now, or in similar industries, or have similar audiences as you, could you collaborate with? Because that would be a really great way of getting more bang for your buck. And it genuinely, that's one of the things that I teach as we move on to the daily, weekly activities. Every week I've always got like, how am I going to grow my audience this week? And never once do I sit there and think I'm going to get some really clever hashtags. No fucking way. Like I'm always about, how do I get the quickest way to make a sale? And it is genuinely having a conversation with somebody. How do I get to have a conversation with somebody? I'm going to be in somebody's group, or do a workshop. Like it could be any of those things, whatever it is for you. But collaborations always feel better for me because I just love people and it's more fun. So why would I not? And I've always done lots of joint ventures. I'm in I think 2 masterminds right now, and I'm actually considering a third. So there's also strategic collaborations in terms of investments. I know very successful coaches that are purposely aligned and invested and present in multiple masterminds so that they can get access to the community and the strategic collaborations. That's just good business. Men do it every day, and it always gives you a return. The next thing is obviously PR pitches. This is where you start to get more proactive and actually put yourself in front of relevant media outlets, whether that's magazines, podcasts, all of, yeah, your network is your net worth for sure. Yeah, and you can do it yourself organically. Rhiannon can support you with that better, but sometimes it's just putting your hands up, like enter yourself into that business board, submit that blog post or that news article that you think might be interesting to somebody. People are always looking for value and content. You're making the work easier for them, so if there's something that you love and you feel aligned to, then there's no harm in, like, he who dares wins. There's a little Del Boy reference there, but it's like there's no harm in asking. If you don't ask, you don't get. Obviously, if you want a more strategic, professional approach and you want somebody working on your behalf, then obviously Rhiannon, like 100%, her agency are the shizzle, and they've got me some incredible doors opened that I wouldn't have even known where to start with. But equally, you start from where you are right now. So if you don't have the budget, then there's opportunities there. It's knowing that people want what you have, rather than feeling like you're annoying people. That's the kind of theme that I wanted you to take away from there. Commit to getting visible and getting paid. Like, that is the thing. That's the biggest mindset shift for a lot of my clients, because what happens otherwise is you have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You want the money, but you don't want the potential backlash or negativity, which, by the way, never comes. Like, I've never had, really, and I've had some like negative experiences online with other things, but I don't give a shit. Like, I'm still getting paid. I'm good. Like, it never hurts my soul because I know who I am as a person. Obviously, if you feel like you're more like susceptible to that, then, you know, it's about reframing, and it's like, actually, this is impacting my ability to live my best life, and I only get one. So do you know what, fuck it, like, who cares? And obviously there could be a bit deeper mindset work there that needs to happen, and it's about committing to that daily. So like I was saying to you, if your goal for this year is like, or for the summer is 6 figures, and you're nowhere near that right now, then it's about the ladder of probability. So actually, what would be a more achievable monetary goal that you could get behind, one that you know that you could actually achieve with a bit of a stretch? Like, create that ladder of probability, blow your own damn mind with what you've then achieved, and then push the boundaries of what's next. That's how I continually grow and move forwards in business. I commit to mastering one thing, I do it in a way that doesn't feel like it's never going to fucking happen, in a way that feels like, yeah, that feels exciting, and then I move it a little bit further. I'm always moving the goalpost. But where I said earlier about the mindset work, it's knowing yourself. It's starting to regulate your own emotions, understanding when things are getting a bit much, checking in with yourself, realigning and saying, why is that feeling a bit much? Why do I want to punch that person in the face? Why do I feel really emotional right now? Is it because I'm not surrounded by the right people that trigger me? Are they triggering a belief in me that I've actually secretly got and I don't want to admit out loud? In which case, mindset work, that needs to happen. Is it I'm around like low vibe people and not setting me up for success? Boundaries need to happen. Is it it's just my time of the month, and that's my energy type, and I need to just literally give myself permission to put my phone down and just have some time away, and then I'm going to come back stronger? Maybe it's that. But it's about knowing yourself and not being at the mercy of life, business, and your energy. Instead, starting to be in tune with what it is that you need in the moment. And some days, like I said, when I was in half term, oh my God, I was like breathing, I was connecting to nature. I literally gave myself 2 days, which I never really do, but I needed it to reset and literally put my phone down and just not do any of the things. But I still did my stories. I still, still added those on, but I just wasn't doing anything else in addition to that. I was doing like my non-negotiables, which I'll talk about in a bit. So the next thing is obviously creating a stackable offer suite. So one thing I feel really passionate about is it's not about how many clients you've got coming in, it's what you do with, like, it's not about the size of the ocean or whatever the word is, it's about what you do with it when you've got it. And I feel the very same with clients. I've got clients that have been with me for over 2 years, because as I grow and I commit to that next level of mastery and next level program, and I expand my network and create something new, they just continue to join the party. Like genuinely, I've got, I think, 2 clients that have joined pretty much 99% of my programs for the last 3 years, and they just move on and on and on and up and up and up. So it's not always about the next client. It can be how do we continue to keep people in our world for longer. This is where I want you to think bigger when it relates to your offer suite. So not just you do this thing, you do this thing, and that's it, and then I'll come back to you when I've got something else. Like, that's how you lose people. A good product offer suite, and when I mean offer, I mean like group program or way of delivering your services or products or something. You always need to have a low, a mid range, and a premium offer, because some people will want closer proximity, some people will want more hand holding, some people will want more tailored, bespoke support, other people won't. Like, some people just need a touch point, they just need some guidance, like they just need a quick win, and off they go. And that's okay. And it's catering for meeting people where they are on their journey, and ensuring that you've got options available to each person at each stage of the journey. So you're never leaving money on the table. You've never got somebody coming into your DMs or asking you for help, and then they can't afford your thing, and then it's like, okay, bye, see you when you can. Like, it's like you've always got to have a downsell, but equally with every sale you always provide an upsell, because some people will, you know, for the people that want more, that are happy to invest more, like, give them the option to want more. Meet your clients with where you're at. Provide a pathway for your clients to ascend with you as you grow. And obviously with that, you have to be in integrity with what you're selling. I've had lots of clients that have come to me over the years that said, I want to sell a high ticket mastermind, I want to charge like £5,000 for my coaching service, and then have never been in a mastermind themselves. It's just a buzzword that they've heard, or they're not prepared to pay that for themselves for their own coaching, and then they're asking people to pay for it. And you've also got, so you've got to be in integrity with what it is that you're selling, but you also need to make sure that each offer complements each other, so you're not negating the value of anything else by selling something else. This is how, like I say, you never leave money on, you never miss an opportunity to sell and serve, essentially, because that's what it is. You never leave money on the table. So what I want you to do, though, is encourage you to think bigger and be original with what these might look like. So obviously you've got to give people an opportunity to come into your world with minimum expectation or risk. So that is where your free content comes in. This is what, but we still want to consider like they're going to be paid at some point, you know, anticipate the inevitable. So still show up like they're paid, but this is things like your podcast, YouTube, social media, lead magnets. So that's a free resource that you could offer to somebody in exchange for their email address or contact details. And again, think bigger. Doesn't have to be like a digital download or a free resource. It could be an event. It could be a networking event. So one thing I love to do is host free networking online virtual events for women in business, because I know what it's like. Community is really fucking hard to come by, particularly if you're in an industry that is particularly competitive. So any opportunity to be around like-minded women, it will level up your life in some way, your energy, your mindset. So we need to always make sure that we've got something free that people can just test the waters, just see. I would always strongly recommend video content, because if that is your jam and that's what you love and that's you in your element, do video content, even if it's like a free masterclass on a landing page somewhere, or access to your free community Facebook group. So they can see you, they can get value, they can get quick wins, but they can see you in your element and lean in and think, do you know what, I love the way she does it. I actually love her energy, like let me see what else she's got. How do I get closer? Because inevitably with this triangle, ladder, whatever it is you want to call it, what is happening is that as they get closer and closer to you and the price increases, they are getting more and more of your personal energy, because that's where the value is, that's where the exchange is. I'm not going to charge anybody £10,000 to join a free Facebook group that I'm only in like once a week, but I will you know, we'll charge that for a one-to-one who wants me like in their pocket as their business partner, you know, like that's the difference. So with the low range offers, these are typically up to like the £97. These are the low, like bucket and see offers, where it's like it could start from like £7, it could be £97, but somewhere in that range where it's minimal investment, minimal risk, Like, it's something that's going to give them incredible results, because we still want to be in integrity and showing up as if they are going to be moving into our high ticket programs. Because if they only have that one exposure to you, we need to make sure it's powerful. It could be like on my podcast right now, I've got exclusive content, which I think one of the ladies said, it's like a hidden VIP, like daily content that's going to be on there. It's £10 a month. It's a low ticket offer, but it's a great entry point for somebody who doesn't really know me that well. You know, it's worth the risk, because at the end of the day, like, I'm an NLP practitioner, EFT, like human design, all the things. Like, I've got a lot of fucking skill set under my belt. Chances are I'm going to add something, like some value, and but it's not too much of a like, oh, I've got to remortgage my house and go out on a limb. But equally, it could be like a Voxer group, like I said about the voice noting app. It could be 30 days of Voxer where it's like super cheap. It could be a clarity call, a strategy call. It could be a mini masterclass. I'm going to show you an example in a minute of how I monetize one program that I created 2 years ago. 10 different ways, by the way. So it's about opening up the creative possibilities. Actually, what could this look like for me? So it could be a networking group. It could be a paid networking group. It could be a low ticket membership. It could be anything. The mid-range offer is typically, so what would I guess I would say is that with the low range offers, it's typically one specific outcome, result, area of focus. The mid-range is usually like a bit more of a journey, where it's a bit more holistic. It's like, you know, you're not just necessarily, it will be like a couple of £100 to maybe, you know, a couple of thousand, but where you've got more of a broader picture, more of a broader transformation, more of a broader journey and outcome, where it's like we're giving you more of the picture. Could be an academy where you've got the whole thing. You know, it really depends on what you're going to be delivering, but making sure that you've always got that mid-range offer for the people that want more. You've always got some way to serve them. And then the premium offer is, this is my VIP next level aspirational offer that not everybody's going to be in, and that's okay. Like, where you can really create something unique, really intimate, really like close proximity. This is where my mastermind sits. Because generally outside of one-to-one coaching, like, that's the next level. That's where we do all of like the deep dive stuff, all of the like getting to know each other's businesses, families, like all the things. So, but again, when I created that, it was like, if I'm going to charge this price, how do I make it an experience worth having at that price? Like, I'm not just going to put it on and say, oh, well, I'm worth it. Just be in my energy, I'm worth it. It's like, no, actually, I'm in integrity. How do I make it worth it? You know, what do I need to bring to the table? What do I need to create? What do I need to add? Who do I need to bring in? Like, what does the experience need to be in order to be worthy of that price point? It's not about me and my worth, because, you know, I'm priceless, obviously. And it'll be the same with you. But it's about always having that ascension where you can meet people where they're at. You can give people a bit of a stretch, but equally, if somebody can't afford your high ticket, you've always got something to downsell them in, and then maybe they can go back up. So have a look at your offers right now and list them in your workbook and say, actually, do these complement each other? Could you stack and go from one to the next to the next? Am I giving clients that opportunity to be with me for longer and ascend through my offer stack? If not, there's an opportunity there for you. The next thing I want you to consider is obviously around your pricing. Because ultimately, like I said, not everybody's going to aspire to 7 figures. That's absolutely fine. I'm a long way from 7 figures, but that is my end goal, because I know that that for me truly equates to financial freedom. So, and I just believe that we all should, because like I said, you're only ever really one shit show or bad month or a few months of ill health away from being stuck when you're only earning 6 figures by the time you've taken out expenses and taxes. So when you look at your current offers, do you even have the ability to scale to 7 figures with what you're selling at the price point you're selling? Because chances are you aren't. And that's what I found when I actually did this exercise and sat down. I was like, girl, I need to sell about 2,000 fucking memberships. Chances are I'm not going to do that unless I suddenly wake up as Beyonce with her audience. Like, I'd have to have like an audience of next level. And I realized really quickly I'd actually set myself up for massive failure, because it just wasn't feasible with what I had at the time. So I had to go back and, like I say, realign my prices and the containers that I had, and be honest with myself and say, right, okay, if I want to scale to this level and really be that leader that can start taking bolder action, being more visible, start getting involved in more like causes and all the things, what do I need to create? and what does the value of that need to be in order to be worthy of that price? Not me, but the offer. What is the promise? What is the outcome? What is the container? Like, what do I need to do in order to actually physically be able to scale to 7 figures? And when I did that and reverse engineered it to what that would mean with monthly, it was actually very doable. But equally, you might want to reverse engineer this in line with your freedom number, in line with your plan, your 90-day plan, and what you want to create before the summer, and actually like have that conversation with yourself where you're like, actually, can it be done? Does your audience match those expectations? Equally, do you have the systems in place to scale to that level? So systems might look like automations in your business. So if there's particular pinch points at the moment in your journey, i.e. like onboarding clients takes time, giving people access to courses takes time, doing admin, sorting out payments, like what are the pinch points in your business right now? And I'd love for you to brainstorm that. What are the really fucking annoying things that take far longer than they should do? And how can I start to streamline that? So good practice when you have a business is that it's almost running it as a corporation and as a business outside of yourself, because typically when clients have come to me to scale their business, the first thing is they cannot fucking scale their business, because 90% of their business is dictated to it is them. They are the block. They are holding on to too much stuff. They are doing stuff in a really unintuitive way, so it doesn't make sense. Nobody can pick it up. They can't be helped. So literally what I then do is get them to take it back to basics and be like, right, okay, going back to your zone of genius, what do you actually physically like fucking need to be doing in your business? Genuinely, like we can say, oh, I can't not do this, I can't not do that, like if I don't do it, it won't be done properly. Let's be real, but like what do you actually need to be doing in your business, and how do we then get you support in the other areas so that you can scale? And some of this could be automation. So a really great like starter for 10 basic funnel that you can do on MailChimp for free is, if somebody signs up to your mailing list, is having a nurture sequence of emails behind them so that people can be warmed to your energy, understand like your mission, your values, like start to build up that trust and awareness of what it is that you do and how you can support them. Having an opportunity to sell, like that's good practice. That makes sense. Everybody should have a nurture sequence attached to when people come into your world, but also like client onboarding. And again, this isn't my personality type. I'm a wing it. I'm a like, I'll figure it out as a go person. I really realized, had to have a long, hard look at myself in the mirror and be like, girl, you will be doing this till you're 60 if you carry on doing that, because at the moment you cannot be supported. Nobody knows what you're doing. Nobody knows how anything works. So I literally went through a process of essentially like looking at all of the processes in my business, and literally gave myself half day and was like, right, okay, where am I missing opportunities right now? Where am I losing people in the customer journey? Where am I missing opportunities and like not tying up the loose ends? So for me, my socials was one at the time, because I was very inconsistent. I wasn't welcoming new followers. I wasn't following up on comments or anybody that could have been potential leads. I wasn't putting polls in my stories, wasn't being consistent. So that for me was like, that is my opportunity to sell. That's my shop window. What am I doing? I need to make that more a priority. So I bought a social media manager on. The next thing was around like onboarding clients, and it was very haphazard, and it was like, you know, it just wasn't the journey that I wanted it to be. So now Laura manages that. I added a Calendly, so when people wanted to work with me, rather than arranging things in the DM, I've just got a link to send them. I put pre-qualifying questions on there. Oh, Laura, you might be able to put that on actually from my Calendly, if that's okay. If anybody wants to chat after this about potentially how I could support them going forwards, there's already a set of questions on there before we even jump on the call, so that your expectations are managed around offers, price points, how I can help, and my expectations are offered to, can I even help you? Like, are you even at that stage of business? So I'm not wasting time jumping onto calls with women that I ultimately can't help. So it's little things like that. What are the pinch points in your business that just waste time and energy, that lose clients potentially, that piss people off, that, you know, not getting back to people, like those little things. There's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and one of the things is called the hygiene factors, where somebody isn't going to come and work with you, so like they have an excellent onboarding process, but if you fuck it up and you piss people off, they are going to remember it. It's going to be something that detracts from your business, that people talk about and moan about, all of the things. So yeah, so it's being aware of that. Like, do you actually have systems in place? Have you got group containers where you can put people? Do you have the downsell container to continue the journey after your program ends. Like those little things. How do we keep people in your world for longer? Do you have a team? Like if you don't, I get it. I didn't have a team for a really long time, not necessarily because of cost, but because of control and because of fear, and because then, oh shit, then I've properly got a business. Like all of the things why I didn't have somebody, because the reality is it's £7 an hour. Like it could be more, obviously. Like I obviously pay more because Laura is priceless and incredible. But there's people that can support you at every stage of your journey. There is people on Fiverr that can get you a branding set. There's websites. Like there's no reason why you can't up level in all areas of your business in a very cost effective way. If you're not sure about investments, let me know. I'll tell you if it's worth it. Because I always, like, whenever my clients say, I'm thinking about doing this, I'm like, don't fucking do it, do this, don't do that. And what are those potential like challenges right now to actually allowing you to scale practically and realistically? Oh, amazing. Thank you, Laura. That link is there if anybody wants it. And then I obviously want you to start leveraging it. So this isn't about more for more's sake. It's about having your maybe core offers, like your clear pathway where it's like, I've got my free content, which is my lead generation, brings people into my world, no risk at all. Then I've got, and that could be whatever it is. It could be a free workshop, a masterclass, a downloadable resource. It could be a monthly networking event. It could be live, just really great fucking powerful content. It could be a blog. It can be whatever the hell you want it to be that feels good to you. And then what are my low ticket offers? My just try it and see. What is my middle offer? And don't overcomplicate it at this point, particularly when you're looking to then have a summer of freedom. Maybe as you're scaling, like you can add in all sorts of nuances and intricacies, but at the beginning stages and when you really are looking to ease yourself out of your business for your summer of freedom, it's about how do I simplify everything. But that doesn't mean to say that we don't have to we don't have to then just it's A, B, or C and that's it. Like, it's about having 3 core offers and how do we then leverage those. So I'm going to show you a quick example of a boot camp that I ran as a live group program in like a couple of years ago. I think it was 2021. So it's my signature millionaire mindset bootcamp, my money mindset program for women who want to essentially transform their relationship with money. Now, the reality is every single woman needs to work on their money mindset because of all of the reasons that I explained earlier about how we are conditioned to believe that making money is scary, it's bad, it's greedy to want more, money doesn't grow on trees, like rich people are greedy, like all of the things. There will be so many reasons why we're holding ourselves back energetically from wanting money, essentially. So for me, that was a no-brainer. I had to deliver that training. That's what I feel so fucking passionate about. It's what I'm writing my book on. But do I want to continue to run that as a live program? Not so much. Like, generally having the same conversations over and over again would not have excited my little manifesting generator heart. So, but equally, like, it's there. So how can I continue to make money? Because it's not like money mindset has now changed. Like, the principles are still the same. I might add extra bits as I increase my modalities, as I increase my income, as I increase my awareness, as I have more meaningful conversations. I absolutely dip back into that program and add to it. So once you've got access, you've got lifetime access. I dip back into it periodically and add little bits and pieces if I feel called to, particularly as I'm writing my book, like it's bringing up other things. So, but equally, I don't have any ambitions to run it again. So I might do, you never know which way the wind will take me. But hey, so I have that one group program that I ran as a live launch. Now, in theory, I could have literally made that a self-study straight off the bat, but I didn't because I'm a chatty Cathy, and some of those sessions went into like 2 hours, and I had to make it like super succinct. So all of that is on there as bonus content if you want to go into like the live coaching. But I essentially like re-recorded it as a self-study, so it was more succinct, more actionable, like all of the things. So I turned it into a self-study, so you can now go onto my website, you can buy it as a standalone. Amazing. That generates me money every now and again. I don't really do anything to drive traffic to. I've got a nurture sequence that's attached to it, i.e. from some money affirmation audios that I have. And it's like, if you want to, because it's the next natural step, right? If you like this low ticket thing, you might like that low ticket, that next journey for you. So that enables me to monetize it further. Any fruit, if I do it again as a live round, then what I will do is make sure I have a VIP upsell element to it for the women that want more, that want closer proximity, that want more hand holding, that need more support. I'll obviously sell it as a program, but also with the VIP upsell. So there's another way that I can monetize it. I sometimes offer it as a bonus to other offers that I'm creating. So if you're a one-to-one client, you literally get absolutely everything that I ever own. If you're in the mastermind, you get everything that I've ever owned, created, and everything I'm going to create, because all of it's inspiration, it's knowledge, it's all the things. So I add it as a bonus because then it increases my conversions, because people are going to be like, well, if that's X amount and I'm getting that for free with this thing, it just makes the value of the other thing even more so. I also add it as an order bump to my funnels. So again, like somebody might come in at a low ticket offer, like my hypnosis audio bundle, and then just, you never know, like just offer it as an upsell. And sometimes people do upsell into those offers anyway. Particularly if you want to scale, it's a great strategy to add an order bump so it negates the cost of ads. So that's just a little side note there for you. I can also run so what I've done as well is I've run the individual modules as separate paid masterclasses. So I did a masterclass earlier in the year. It generated me like a few £100, and it was essentially one module from the bootcamp, because what then happened was some of the women converted back into the bootcamp because they did the low ticket paid like one module masterclass, realized how much more there was to it, and for some people it was enough, they were happy with that, but others, they then wanted to do the full program, which they did. So I gave them an incentive to do that. No extra work to me because it's already been created. I can also offer it as a downsell. So as I said about always giving people somewhere to go, my higher ticket programs, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm interested in the mastermind, can't quite invest, I'm not going to be like, okay, bye. I'm like, well, what about this instead? Like, this might meet you with where you're at right now, give you everything you need to then come up to the offers that I've got. I also bundle it with other offers. So again, just adds to the value, and it's money for money that I've already created. So I've got an academy that's like £111 a month. It's the Aligned, Empowered and Abundant Academy. It's something that leans into like human design, spiritual connection, business with soul. It's like my entry building business, but equally, if you don't have a business, it still serve you, like manifestation, like all of those things. Which really complements the money mindset. So it makes sense. If you do both of those programs, you literally have everything you ever need. So bundle them together and make it a no-brainer. I also deliver modules as a paid speaker and as a guest expert. So I've done that before, where I have taken, again, elements of the program. I've already got the framework and the content and the slides, and I've delivered it as a guest expert paid in somebody else's group. So that might be something you want to consider. I can also sell the resources separately. So like hypnosis bundles, if you've done a workbook, I've done that before, where I did a program and I had a Dream Life workbook that's now on a lead magnet, and I get sales from that like every month, basically. Not loads, but you know, enough to make it worth it if I ever wanted to put it to ads. I know that it works. You can put them on Etsy, you can put them like wherever you want. So it's about actually taking out the resources from that program and selling them separately. It's also now the framework for my book, so I'll have the books that complements the thing, and then occasionally I'll do flash sales. So you can see one program I created 2 years ago, and I can still continue to monetize it 10 different ways today. So, and the value is still there, you know, and I'm still adding to it, but equally not in any pressure that I need to. So it's about getting creative and leveraging what you've already got and thinking, okay, rather than continually reinventing the wheel, continually doing more work, how do I make the stuff that I've already done work harder for me? And it could be repurposing content, and it could just be leveraging the assets that you've already created. So the next thing I want to touch on is recurring revenue and passive income, because this is where I believe that, again, most coaches don't focus. They're so worried about the 10K months and the 100K launches and the 7-figure years that they ride this emotional roller coaster that absolutely drains them. It's like flying by the seat of your pants, and I'm just not about that life. 80% of my clients pay in installments, and I'm totally here for it, because that's how I sleep at night with kids at home. I'm not only, because if I got sick tomorrow, I know I'm still getting paid in my business for the next 4 or 5 months. Whether I do nothing else but attend my client calls and honor my commitments, I am good. You know, if I don't get another client, like, I've got my bills paid. And that's because I actively encourage installments. I actively look for clients that are interested in the long-term containers and commitment to coaching. I also know that there's value in that, you know, like the stackable success and stackable wins. The more that you get to know somebody and the longer that you're together, the more that you can really get into the detail of their business and them as a person, and align strategies and know when they're holding themselves back and all the things. So I have containers that are 12 months, which is my mastermind. My one-to-one coaching clients, 6 months minimum. I used to only be 3 months, and I would constantly be chasing the next client. Now I'm like, no, you commit, and we go all in, and we fucking like make this pact together that it's me and you for the next 6 months, and I will go all fucking out for you, and you will, go with me. Like, you'll submit to the madness that is me at times, and you'll just go with it. But that means that I obviously have that commitment. I've got that reoccurring revenue. It means I'm not constantly like, yeah, you're good, because I'm trying to chase the next client. It means I can go all in and really hold space for my clients. So I'd love for you to consider, like, even the terms and the durations of your containers, finding that sweet spot for you as a client, rather than chasing or selling one-off sessions. Maybe do that as a low ticket offer to get somebody into your world, but rather than chasing those one-offs, it's like, how do we encourage more commitment and longevity from your clients? How do we continue to keep those pathways and that journey with you? Having an evergreen sales strategy is an absolute no-brainer. As a woman in business, you should always be, which is essentially a way of receiving sales every single day of the week. Because I've had clients that come to me at the beginning where we've essentially blown up their business, and then they haven't been making money, and they're like, what do I do? Like, it's not working. I'm gonna have to do something else. And I'm like, every single day that you are in business is an opportunity to make money. That's the reality. That's the power that you wield as a female entrepreneur. You can go on your stories today, you can create a new offer, you can email your list if you have an email list, which you should always have because it's an asset to your business. And you own it. Social media, you don't own it. I know lots of great coaches that had their social media platforms like removed or banned or closed or all of those things. You, as a woman, you should always have a means and a way for you to receive sales in your business every day. So this isn't waiting for the next launch of your program. This isn't waiting for the next live launch. If you've got somebody that's keen today, like, what can we do with them? Even if it's a placeholder, how do we, convert that sale? Because selling is serving, and it's symbolic. So if you've got somebody who's super keen and super excited, don't make them wait. Are we making it easy to receive money? So even just on my sales pages, I've got the PayPal option now because it makes it easier. So are you making it easy to receive money? Like, all over my things are ways in which to pay me. I've got my store, I've got my services page, I've got my social media, I've got links, like all the things, but I've also got the PayPal option now, so that even if you're sitting having a coffee on your sofa, you don't even have to get up and go and get your credit card. You can just do it on PayPal, and you can also do it over PayPal credit. So you can, again, spread those payments and make it even easier to invest. That's what we need to be thinking. Like, do people have to go and hunt and try and find and DM? Am I ambiguous and vague about my prices? Like, just tell people we're all intelligent. I would rather know up front so that I'm not wasting people's time. Like, I need to understand the investment before I even want to get closer to you. If it's completely out of my realm of possibility and it's never going to fucking happen, I can manifest till the cows come home. But if it is genuinely like a massive stretch, there's no point me wasting your time on an hour and a half sales call. Like, literally 90% of my sales calls convert because they already know in advance what the investment is and what the opportunity is. So I don't have to sit and convince anybody to work with me. So just reflect on those points. Like, am I making it easy to sell? Am I incentivizing people to pay in installments and also have that longevity of journey with me? So like, maybe you've got a program right now, you could break it up, and because then equally, when people can pay in installments, yes, you'll get the odd person that defaults, and that is a headache. But I would rather have the extra person than not and have to deal with the defaults, because I've got processes in place now for that. So I'm good. Like, that doesn't stop me. It doesn't even take anything from my energy. It just is. So is there anything like you could do to split up payments and encourage those continual payments to make it more accessible? Because that's the thing, you're then more accessible to help more people and meet them with where they're at the journey. So I've obviously mentioned about funnels and passive income. So passive income and semi-passive income are things that require minimal energy once it's been created. Maybe you might have to drive traffic to it, to continually remind people that it's available, but you don't necessarily have to put any more energy into that thing. So things like that are downloadable resources, ebooks. Again, you could be repurposing stuff that you've already created previously for programs, self-study courses, webinars, masterclasses, paid content that you previously created. Like all of those are great examples of semi-passive income. So again, if you go onto my store, I've got hypnosis audios, I've got workbooks, I've got masterclasses, like all of the things that there's still potential that I could make money from those things without really doing anything else but just signposting people to those options. And anybody that's super keen will know that they're there already, because they already would have gone and had a look. So again, are you making it easy for people to buy? Are you getting the most bang from your buck, like from stuff that you've already created? Could you just grab a whole load of stuff that you've created for TikTok and put it onto YouTube as YouTube Shorts, and then you've got a whole other platform, whole other audience, whole other opportunity for exposure, visibility, and to potentially make money? Like that's a question to answer yourself. Obviously I've said about funnels, so that's essentially like an email sequence or some sort of like intentional way of taking people on a journey. Lead magnets with a nurture sequence should be a minimal. Offer them an order bump if you can. I believe you can do this even for free in like MailChimp. It's so easy to do. Things like, I have Kajabi now, so it all does it. It's like all singing, all dancing. If you're interested in Kajabi, let me know. Because also I'm an affiliate for so many different software that I use. So last year I did you can go back and listen to the podcast episode. I had something like 27 income streams into my business. And that is because I never miss an opportunity to sell. I leverage absolutely everything that I do and I'm going to be doing anyway, but I always do it with integrity in a way that is aligned to me. You know, if somebody brings me a client, I'll pay them an affiliate payment because I believe that that should be rewarded. Obviously, as a money mindset coach and encouraging women to get paid, I couldn't then not be in integrity with that and offer the same thing. But, you know, there's like Kajabi, I get an affiliate payment from them because for a long time I had an agency and we created launch funnels and email sequences and all the things. So I've still got reoccurring revenue from clients that I don't even speak to anymore. Thanks very much, because I did their thing. So that didn't come from me wanting to be nice and thinking that it's greedy to do that. That's me coming from thinking, well, I've only got so many fucking hours in the day. If I'm doing the work already, how do I get this to continue to pay me? Basically. And that's what I did. So that, you know, that income is still several £100s a month. Like that feels pretty good. I make like a couple of thousand a month from affiliate payments, and that's before I even do anything else. So God forbid I get sick tomorrow, I've still got something coming in. Like I've got somewhat of security knowing that even if I did not one other thing in my business, like I'm okay, like I can eat, my kids can eat, like we're good. And that's what you need to be thinking about all the time. If it's software that you use, if it's suppliers that you use, if it's people that you often refer clients to, if it's stuff that you've already created, like how do we continue to get this making more money for you? That's what I want to kind of encourage you with there. It's also then about leveraging again further what you've already got. So let's be fucking real. The revenue is in the reviews. If you are getting really great reviews for somebody and really great results for your clients, people are going to work with you. That is going to convert far more than an inspirational quote or a really high value carousel. If somebody can see that you are physically demonstrating what it is that they want, they are going to find a way to work with you. It becomes a no-brainer. So the more that when people come to me and say, I need more clients, want more clients, I'm like, go home, like Gandhi, go home and love your clients, because that's the reality. If you can get your clients really incredible results, they will be your ambassadors. Their results will sell without selling more clients because they will want the same results. So a testimonial though, I always joke, ride that pony all the way home. If you've got a really great testimonial, then leverage the shizzle from it. So it could be sometimes people like you know, just have those blank like questionnaires or graphics. It's like actually how do we leverage that result? So it could be a live video. You could ask them to join you on an IGTV. You could join them on a podcast episode. You could create a case study breakdown in your stories. You could get them to do a video testimonial. They could do a voice clip, a written testimonial for your sales page, DM clips. Like all of that is great social proof. We are all at our very core like curiosity led. We are nosy. We have FOMO. Like you know, if somebody else is getting something, we want it too. So the more that you can leverage that excitement, those results, that energy, I'll be doing it today. All of the incredible comments and stuff, wins, takeaways from today's session, I'll be leveraging that on my socials, because I did that thing. I didn't pay you to write that, you did it. So therefore, you know, and I'm not getting any financial exchange for this. So it goes to show that I can then leverage those results anyway, because that will still help me in some small way. If you share this on your socials, if you let me know your wins, that still helps me to grow my business and my visibility. It's appreciated, but also gets to anchor in what you've learned and for yourself, like all the great things. So anything like that that comes into you, ride that pony all the way home, like genuinely. Equally, if you're in a really bougie place, so this is another way that you can document your journey without intentionally feeling like, oh, I've got to put makeup on today. I've already got, or feel like, oh, I've got to show up when I don't want to. And this will, if you start banking and thinking in that mindset now, how can I bank the assets, the content, the results, the things that I've already done and are doing up until the next 90 days, so that when it comes to the summer and I want that 6 weeks off, I've already got everything in place that I need. I don't have to, even if I do nothing else, that I can do, I've got everything that I need. So one thing that I love to do is bank content. Like if I am behind the scenes or embodying my next level self, like you'll see loads of stuff from me in LA for like months to come, because I was intentionally taking content while I was there, thinking, what could I write as a caption? Like, what could this actually demonstrate as a point? Like, where could this potentially like segue into something that I'm offering? I'm always in creation mode, not because I'm always on, but because I'm always living my life. So I'm always going to have stuff. Even me on the school run with the kids, like I still create the odd boomerang or reel, because this for me is what success looks like. So I'm not having to go out of my way, dress my kids super nice and put on loads of extra effort. It's just, this is us doing our thing, documenting our journey. And that's content that I can then, you know, that will speak to my ideal client. So obviously repurposing your content, which I've already said, with a team support and leveraging other people's audience, great ways to leverage stuff that you're already doing. The next thing is around, and I don't think we've got many more. Yeah, I think it's just a couple more slides now anyway, so apologies if we're overrunning, but it's about having clear focus and intention. That is the crux of how you get your summer off, or with minimal touch points in your business, it is getting more bang with your buck and more intention on what you're doing, so that it is serving you rather than just doing all the things that are not serving you in any way. So this is where I'd love for you to turn to your 90-day sales plan, like having a clear focus every week. What am I even fucking selling? Like, what am I doing? What is it that where do I want people to go? What do I want them to invest in? And I've actually got a 3-box approach that, again, my clients, when they're like, but what do I actually need to do? Like, what is the thing that I need to be doing every day to actually get that increased conversion? So I get them to write 3 boxes. And in your workbook, there's an example of this. For every week on a Monday or a Sunday night, I sit down and I write out 3 boxes. The first one is grow. So what do I need to do this week, bearing in mind how I'm feeling, everything I've got going on, all my other commitments and my diaries, like what can I actually do to grow my business? Now, some weeks this box will be a whole fucking list because I've got capacity and I've got time and energy. Other weeks it will be one thing because that's all I can manage. But as long as every week I am doing something to grow my visibility, I'm good. I know that I'm still building my business regardless. The next box is around nurture and deliver. So as long as, again, I'm nurturing my current audience, whether that's my email list, my social media content, and I'm delivering a good service to my current clients, so I'm fulfilling my needs and my commitments, I'm good. Like that makes me feel good, because again, like people will stay in your world for longer. That will give you a better quality of testimonials and results that you can then leverage. That will, you know, give you more referrals, like all of the good things. We can't forget the people that are already in our world. And then the last box is leverage. So what can I do to leverage what I've already created, or goodwill that I've, you know, good karma, good energy, divine law of compensation, all the things that I've done, and how do I leverage that this week? That gives you a really great awareness of balance and things that you need to be doing every week to actually continue to grow, nurture, and leverage your business going forward. So if you want some kind of inspiration in terms of like growing your visibility, that will be, if this week I can only do 3 social media posts, like how do I make them 3 of the most fucking insightful, activating, value-driven, blow your bloody socks off piece of content ever? You know, not 5 bits of generic watery, like nothing. We want 3 bits of bloody amazing content that's really going to activate somebody and inspire them today to work with me. So maybe it's that. And like I say, some weeks that will be it, like that's all I can do. But other weeks when I've got capacity, it's like, how can I be a guest expert on somebody's podcast? How can I get somebody onto mine? What strategic collaborations can I do? Where do I need to pitch my services? Like, do I need to be on a new platform? Maybe I should do some lives. Like this list will be endless. Maybe I need to host a networking event. Maybe I need to go to a network event. Maybe I need to like check in with a few of my past clients. Maybe I need to ask for referrals in my mastermind. Like maybe I need to offer as a guest expert. Like there'll be so many other things that you could do to grow your visibility that week. But if you can only do one thing, do one thing. That's where I see a lot of women drop the ball, is that they either get so busy in delivery that they forget that they still have a business that needs to grow. And then or they get so busy on bringing people in that they give them a really shit time when they do get in, and then they don't stay. They don't give them results. And then the leverage is the thing where we're like repurposing content, riding those testimonial ponies all the way home, particularly in the beginning when you don't have many, or you've got a program that is particularly long or not necessarily results driven but about community. How do you get those testimonials? Well, that's where sometimes you just have to ask. Like today, like, I'm going to be really fucking intentional. I would love your feedback, so that I can, you know, leverage that on my socials, but also know better for next time, know what I'm going to be creating next time, like all of the things. Like it's so valuable. And I'm a manifesting generator. My human design is to initiate and respond. I need you to give me something so I know what to come back with next. So it's those sorts of things. So as long as you've got those 3 boxes, every day you've got some, like every week you've got something. Focus on the income producing activities and the ones that actually require your personal energy. Doing invoices, fanning about with admin, like doing onboarding clients, none of that is income producing. Always get to the good bit. And this is why, again, like as a business coach, I always encourage my clients to just get out there and start speaking, even before you've created something. If you're about to launch something, tell people, get them excited, build the curiosity, get a warm list of people that are already interested before you even go to sell. Because then when it comes to it, like you've already got probably some people in the bank, you show up with a whole different energy rather than like, shit, I really need to sell something today. It's about it's about that, focusing on what is actually potentially going to make me money today. It isn't all the things in the background that are probably keeping you busy but make you feel really important and, you know, make you feel in control when you're actually not. Commit to your non-negotiables each day, and that will be different for each of us. For me, it's my stories and it's my social media. Oh, I've got it on the bottom. Because again, that's my shop window. If I'm not present on my stories and I'm not in anybody's mind, how am I going to sell? I will have people that will just be curious and might follow me, find me through various means, and I've got my content that continues to work even when I'm off. But if I want to increase my chances, if I just do my social media and stories each day and document my journey and embody my values, I'm being able to receive and making sure that anybody that is curious can go off and find these payment links and things, and making it as easy as possible for people to sell. I'm going to make money. And that's essentially all I will be committing to in the summer. I won't be offering myself as a guest expert. I might have it all planned in my pipeline for when I get back. But for me, I am taking it right back to basics. As long as I do those things every day, I'm good. My business is growing. I potentially can make money and I'm still able to be free with my kids. So decide on what that is for you. That will be in the workbook. And then the last thing is around, like, again, just recapping on how do you leverage your time, energy, and money. So going back to the original promise of the workshop, leveraging your time means identifying your drains on your time right now, optimizing your offers to scale so you can keep people with you for longer, blocking out your time and getting super fucking intentional on what do I actually need to do? Like, what is actually going to make me money today? And repurposing everything that you're already creating or putting energy into. Leveraging your energy for me is around working within your zone of genius and your human design so that you're always in your best energy self. Getting support from a team at whatever level of business you're at is always symbolic to be supported, and know that you've got somebody else in your corner in your business, whether it's a coach, a VA, a social media manager, a branding person that's going to do something one-off, a photographer or whatever. Like, be supported, don't be alone. Systemize and automate as much as your business bits of your business as you can as soon as possible. Identify like the pinch points in your business right now that if I got sick or I wanted to take time off, like these things would not happen. That's what we need to start accounting for. Leverage everything, like your connections, so like affiliate payments, like I said, your connections, your assets that you've already created, your audience, like get them buying from you more than one time. And then money, for me, it's focusing on that reoccurring revenue. It's about making sure that you have profit in your business, so you're not over investing as well as under investing, and that you're also looking for smart opportunities to grow that money once it's in the bank. So again, in my mastermind, I bring in guest experts that can show you strategies how to do that, because it's not always about how much money you've got coming in, it's about what you're doing with it and the intentionality behind it, and how you can make it work for you and not the other way around. So that takes us very nicely into our last hot seat coaching session. So I'll just stop the screen share now. And for anybody that wants to come up and kind of maybe talk about some of the things that I've mentioned, like, this is our moment. Let me know, like, what are we saying? What are we thinking? Does anybody want to brainstorm anything?
I'm just really grateful for today, because even, like, I know it sounds silly, but even just now I've been chatting to my VA, and obviously she's social media VA, and I'm like, you could do this, like, you know, like, she's so good on my socials. I'm like, why don't you make a business out of it? Why don't you start creating courses to show other people, to then train them up to be a social media VA, and then you can create your own company.
Oh my God, I love this.
I know it's just a bit off topic, but it's just like, oh my God, I'm actually like more entrepreneurial than I thought.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it though, Abby? Like, this is how I fell into business coaching, because I am that woman. So I haven't thought about this, and they'd be like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, natural born business coach. This could be our next evolution, Abby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of a reminder really about, you know, all the content that I've created that is just maybe just on one page, and yeah, just a reminder of just putting yourself everywhere really.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely more opportunities to leverage that, definitely, especially when you've got support as well. But yeah, I'm so excited. Do you think that there's anything like that you may be doing that's out of your human design energy type or anything?
No, I don't think so. I do want to read into, because I've double checked and I'm actually a generator, so I do want to kind of read a bit more into it. But yeah, I feel like I mean, you know what my life's like. It can be overwhelming at times, and I've got so much energy and I'm like trapped.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just all about being more intentional. But yeah, no, I feel like I just need to do a bit more research into my human design really, and how I can really leverage the fuck out of it to leverage the business basically.
That's it. 'Cause it's all about bang for your buck. That's the thing. How do I get more conversions and more results with like less, basically? That's my whole ethos to business coaching. Especially when you've got young kids as well. So yeah, I'm so excited. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I've already got like a list of things I want to be cracking on with, and obviously, you know, with Alex as well, trying to incorporate, you know, because again, we're, you know, as much as I want to do my thing, I also want to, you know, bring more money into the household. So if I can help in any way and get the ball rolling in that respect as well, then, you know, I'm all for it, you know.
Yeah, well, community based, like your energy is magnetic. So anything that shows you in your like essence, like in your element, that will naturally bring in the women that are meant for you 100%. So I'm super excited. Abby's obviously in the mastermind, so I can continue to support you with this journey, which feels really bloody exciting as well. So yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be an incredible year.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Imran. You are so welcome. Yeah, this has been so insightful today, and aligning my generator with my business. Building a team is key to scaling 100%, Justin. Like, you're not meant to do all the things. Is there anybody else that has any questions? Otherwise, you know, obviously let me know in the comments if there's anything that comes up for you when you're doing the workbook. Oh, you are so welcome, and love the workbook. Amazing. I'm so excited.
I think it'd be really good if obviously you've probably taken a screenshot, but if everybody was to kind of share what they've learned, and like if you posted on social media what you've done today, if we were all to comment underneath that what everybody's learned and kind of what their intentions are going forward, I think that'd be really amazing.
Oh, that would be amazing, because generally my whole intention for today, it's almost like the anarchist in me. I just want more women to create more impact, more income, and do it all their own fucking way, not feel that pressure to conform or, you know, be somebody that they're not. So yeah, so I'm so pleased that seems to have hit the mark for a lot of you today. I'm super excited. If you've got any follow-on questions, let me know. Otherwise, oh, you're so welcome. Otherwise, have an incredible day.
I'm eager for the 30-day now next
Yes, yes. Oh my God, yes. So we've obviously got the 30-day challenge next week. If anybody wants to join us, it's going to be incredible. More of this incredible energy, daily tips, resources, insights, like all the chat, all the community. But amazing. Thank you. Rhiannon, are you okay? Did you have any questions or just to say? Bye. Perfect. All right then. Well, fantastic, ladies. Have an incredible day. Thank you so much for your time and
Bye.
energy
Thank you.
today. Thank you.